Today's topic is hexadecimal addition. The method that we use to do hexadecimal addition is the same method we use to do decimal addition. We place both numbers one under the other and match the columns. And then, starting from the right-hand side, we proceed with the calculation, adding the numbers up as we go. An example of this in decimal is 6 plus 2, which is equal to 8. We put the 8 down there. 4 plus 2, which is equal to 6. We put the 6 in the result section. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. We put 4 in the result section. There are two different methods that you can use for hexadecimal addition. One of these methods is changing the hexadecimal number to binary and then adding the binary numbers together, then changing the number back to hexadecimal. Or, which is the method we'll be using, you can add each of the columns separately by turning them into decimal, adding them, and then changing the result back into hexadecimal. As I said, that's the method we'll be using here. Using hexadecimal allows us to use numbers from 0 to 9 and A to F. So for each of the columns, the maximum you can have in any column is F, and the lowest is 0. Hexadecimal addition starts from the right, and if there's a carry, then it must be moved on to the next column. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at some examples of hexadecimal addition. I've got 4 examples for you to have a look at, and we'll begin with example 1. So our first example, we have 1a plus f. And as you can see here, I do have the hex and the decimal conversion table. So I have these showing here, so it's easy for you to see what hexadecimal number converts to a decimal, what the value is. So starting from the right column, we have a plus f. So changing that to decimal, we have 10 plus 15. So 10 plus 15 is equal to 25. So 25 is too great for that particular column. So what we can do is you can either use the conversion notes that you've been given, or you can say 25 is equal to 16 plus 9. So I'm saying 16 because this is base 16, so I'm just taking 16 out of that column and putting it into the next column. So on the conversion itself, because I've got 116 here, the value is 1, and then I have got 9 units, so the value is 9. So 25 decimal is equal to 19 hexadecimal. If you prefer to use the conversion notes that you've been given, then please do so. Okay, so placing the 9 in the column here, we carry the 1. And then in the second column, we have 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So the result of our calculation is 29. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at our second example now. So the second example, we have 4b4 plus 6d. And again, I have the conversion table here between hex and decimal, so it makes it easier for you to translate between the two number systems. So starting from the right hand column, we have 4 plus d. Changing that to decimal, that's 4 plus, as you can see from the table, 13, and the result is 17. Now 17 is too big to go into the unit column, so if we take 16 out of that, we're left with 1, so 17 is equal to 16 plus 1. So the result of the conversion is 17 decimal is equal to 11 hexadecimal. Use the conversion notes you've been shown if that's what you prefer. to do. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so the result of this calculation would be placing 1 in the answer section and carrying 1. So we'll move on to our second column, and here we have b plus 6 plus 1. So b is 11 plus 6 plus 1, so our result here is 18. So 18 is too big for our column. We know that can only have a maximum up to f. So 18 is equal to 16 plus 2. So we have 2 in the unit column and we have 1 copy of 16. So the result of the conversion is 18 decimal is equal to 12 hexadecimal. Use the conversion notes that you've been given if you prefer. It's absolutely whatever you understand using, then use that. Okay, so we'll place the result in the columns. We place 2 inside here and we carry 1. And looking at our third column, we have 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. So the final result of the calculation is 5, 2, 1. So I'm going to move on to example 3. So example 3 is a little bit bigger. We have C03F add 13FF, and you can see the conversion table is given there. In our first column, we have F plus F. The value of F is 15, so that would be 15 plus 15 equals 30. Now we know 30 is too big for our unit column, so 30 is equal to 16 plus 14. So we're taking 16 out. So 14 itself is too big also to put in the unit column. So we have to actually translate that into its appropriate hexadecimal value. 14 in hex is E. So we have 1, 16, and we have E. So we can put E in the answer column and carry 1. Our second column, we have 3 plus F plus 1. So that's 3 plus 15 plus 1, which is 19. Now, if you prefer to use your hexadecimal conversion that you were shown before, then please do so. But 19 is equal to 16 plus 3. 19 is too big for the column, so we have to take some of the value out and move it to the next column. So 19 decimal is equal to 13 hexadecimal. So we put 3 down here and carry the 1. Looking at our third column, we have 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. And moving on to our last column, we have C plus 1. C is 12, so 12 plus 1 is 13. And 13 is D. So our final result is D4, 3E. Our last example here just shows another addition of 2 hexadecimal numbers. So we have 5D6F added to 19AB. And again, as you can see, I do have the table for converting hex to decimal. Right, so looking at our first column, we have F plus B. Changing this to decimal, the calculation is 15 plus 11. So that gives us 26. 26 is too big for our unit column, so we have to take 16 out away from the 26. So 26 equals 16 plus 10. So the result of the conversion would be got 1, 16, so that's where the 1 comes from, and we have got 10. 10 in hexadecimal is A, so 26 decimal is equal to 1A in hexadecimal. So we put A in the result column and carry the 1. So looking at our second column, we have got 6 plus A plus 1. So that's 6 plus 10 because A is 10. plus 1. So our answer is 17. 17 is too big to go into the column. So what we can do is we can say 17 equals 16 plus 1. So we have got one copy of 16, so that's where that particular number comes from. And then we've got 1 here. So 17 decimal is equal to 11 hexadecimal. So we'll put 1 down here and then carry the 1 across. Our third column, we have D plus 9 plus 1. So D is 13 plus 9 plus 1. So the answer here is 23. 23 is too big for our unit column. So what we'll do is we'll split 23 into 16 plus 7. So the result of the conversion would be 23 decimal equals 17 hexadecimal. So we have got 1 16, which is this one, and 7. Use whatever conversion method suits you. So if the one that's been shown previously is the one you prefer, then use that. Okay, so as you can see here, we put 7 down and we carry the 1. So looking at our fourth column, we have 5 plus 1 plus 1. So that is equal to 7. So the result of our calculation is 771A. Now, have a look at this video a few times if you need to reaffirm your grasp of the topic. So have a look at it as many times as you need to. Have a look at the hexadecimal addition exercises and see if you can complete them. Make a note of any questions that you want to ask in the online live tutorial. The link will be on Canvas. And when you feel ready, you can move on to the hexadecimal subtraction. Thank you for listening.